All right, so I'm playing with the idea of creating an automatic newsletter that basically takes several different websites' blog posts from that week and then aggregates them, summarizes them, and posts them on a public URL. So right now I'm just using GitHub Pages and just WP/weekly uh, WP weekly newsletter. And I have just a couple, like three different sites here. I have a little light and dark mode. Have the source of what domain it's from, right? So I've got my own, and then I've got the WP Minute, and we've got, so these are all posts that have been made in the last week. And so every week it's going to do this flow and it's going to have different posts there. And if you haven't posted that week, that website won't show up. And if you posted twice or three times, like you'll show up. And so it's a way to potentially give clients the ability to say they want to have a weekly newsletter, some kind of weekly distribution of their content or monthly, however you want to do it. I'm just playing around with that idea. So let's just jump really quick into the flow. It's pretty simple. It's just a really long linear flow, and basically it's just running every week. You could change that to like every month if you wanted, setting the date time, and then here we're getting passing in an array of website URLs, and so I could add a different one here. Let's just add let's add Brian Cords. All right, so then now we have three different URLs that it'll get from instead of just the two, right? So I can see there's websites one, three. And what it's going to do is then split out the website fields so that we can use them. And then it's going to do an HTTP request and it's going to pass in all three of those URLs here and then go to the REST API point for their posts and then extract the title, content, featured media, etc. So we only get the fields that we want. And then this after is saying this date time is the current daytime minus 7 days. So it's saying, okay, only get the content that was published after 7 days ago. So in the last week. All right. And then what it's doing is passing all that data to an AI agent. And the AI agent is just processing that data and it's summarizing it. It's saying, okay, I'm going to summarize each article and we're going to return it in a specific JSON format. And there's some rules like, just be concise, all that stuff. You can change that. And the cool thing is here we can specify to the AI, we want to say, okay, only output data in this type of JSON format so that we can use each of these nodes later down the flow, right? And then it's going to try to get the featured image for that post, right? Because it might just have a image ID number. And so we're using that ID number and passing it into each website, right? So there's the dynamic what's such and such.com, and then the slash media slash and then the ID. We're passing the ID in, right? So we're getting the ID from this featured image and then we're just like combining everything together. We're just mapping like the image URL, the title, the summary, the link, all that stuff, the ID, just mapping everything together. Some of them come from different flows. And then the cool thing is that we're generating this HTML template. So I have just like a actual just HTML document here, right? So I've got the start of my HTML, we've got our header, I've got some variables here that are giving me a light and dark toggle. And yeah, everything seems to be working as expected. It's just a bunch of like CSS to style it up a little bit. And then the cool thing is further down after the CSS, we have this dynamic area. And this is where it's going to pass in, it's going to loop over each of the items that it gets. So however many posts, it's going to post that many cards. And then each card is going to have, um, like a source URL for the image. It's going to have like here's the H2 for the card heading. It's going to pass in the dynamic heading, whatever the title of the article is, and the post summary. It's going to get that all that from the AI agent because that's why we export it in a certain format. So it's just going through and creating all these dynamic cards and then looping over it. And yeah, let's just go ahead and test the flow. And after basically at the end, it uploads that HTML document to GitHub, right? So I have just a simple GitHub here, and it tells me the day of the changes and make the change, and I can look at the GitHub. And then what I'm doing is just creating a GitHub page right here. So you can come and just make a page out of your repository. So now that I've hit this execute workflow, it's going to actually go through, and now it's going to run through with Brian's content, right? Because we added his website here, right? So there's Brian Cord's website, and so now it's executing. It's doing the summaries again. It's going to go through the whole flow, and it's going to post it to GitHub. So I'll just pause it real quick. Well, it's almost done, so we'll just see it in real time, I guess. Um, yeah, so then it's done. It's got 6 items, and now it's posting it to GitHub. So it says it's done. And I can come and preview what the HTML document is. Here it is here. Okay, so we're seeing the limitation here where Brian apparently has his REST API turned off, so I can't actually I can actually grab it that way. So I'm gonna replace it with post status. All right, so let's just run that through again. I'm gonna pause it real quick. All right, so I had to edit that out because I found a couple sites that just didn't have the REST API. But here we've got the developer, WooCommerce blog. Now we get 8 items in the flow. All right, and this has been pushed all the way to Git. See what it looks like here. Yeah, so there's our WooCommerce stuff. So it's added that as well. Again, below the WP minute, we see WooCommerce stuff. 3 articles there. So potentially that should have been pushed all the way to this page here. Let's refresh. And there it is. So we have our sort of automated newsletter that uses existing posts, summarizes them, and posts them to a live URL. And we got our dark mode. So yeah, I mean, I'm considering that a success. Let's see. It should have updated, right? Our repository. Yep, updated 1 minute ago. So the flow is working. It is going from, you know, getting all the items, getting the 3 websites, doing the requests, summarizing all the articles, getting the featured image, setting the fields, generating the HTML template, pushing it to GitHub, and that's it. So, I could see clients using that to summarize their posts. You can use this flow and then push those into social media. Could drip that content over the course of that week. So yeah, I mean, there's any number of ways you could take this a little bit further and kind of refine it and all that. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly show a sort of AI summarized weekly newsletter that's completely automated and gives you a public URL to use. So anyway, that's it. And I think I'll spend some time refining this a little bit and maybe make a longer video about how I did it. So anyway, that's it.